Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Manchin. Let's get to it. It's Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. Welcome to day 477. Senate Republicans and Joe Manchin blocked a bill to enshrine abortion rights into federal law, which would have guaranteed access nationwide even if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. Democrats needed 60 votes to take up the Women's Health Reproduction Act, but all 50 Republicans and Joe Manchin voted against proceeding to debate. The final vote was 49 to 51. Following the vote, Biden criticized Republicans' failure to protect access to reproductive health care, saying the vote runs, quote, counter to the will of the majority of the American people, end quote, and adding that Republicans have, quote, chosen to stand in the way of Americans' rights to make the most personal decisions about their own bodies, families, and lives, end quote. Vice President Kamala Harris added that, quote, the priority should be to elect pro-choice leaders, end quote. Meanwhile, Republican Senator Susan Collins called the police over a chalk message written in front of her house asking her to support the Women's Health Protection Act. Collins called the sidewalk chalk message, which read, quote, Susie please, Mainers want WHPA, vote yes, clean up your mess, end quote, a defacement of public property in front of our home. Collins, who is a moderate pro-choice Senate Republican, previously voted to confirm several Supreme Court justices who appear poised to overturn Roe v. Wade. Collins also voted against the Women's Health Protection Act. Moving on, the pace of inflation eased slightly in April, marking the first time in 7 months. The Consumer Price Index increased by 8.3% in April compared to a year ago, below the 8.5% year-over-year increase in March, which was the highest rate since 1981. Prices rose by 0.3% on a month-to-month basis. April's core inflation, meanwhile, rose by 0.6% that month, faster than March's 0.3% increase. Back in D.C., the House of Representatives approved more than $40 billion in emergency aid for Ukraine. The package, which is larger than the $33 billion aid package that Biden requested last month, includes more than $18.7 billion in military and security aid, as well as $8.8 billion in direct economic support for Ukraine. The package now heads to the Senate, where it will need 60 votes to advance. Moving on, a New York judge released Trump from a contempt of court order on the condition that he pays the $110,000 in fines that he's accumulated for failing to comply with a subpoena for documents issued by the New York Attorney General's office. The judge ruled that if Trump and his company didn't pay the $110,000 penalty by May 20th, he would reinstate the contempt order and retroactively apply the $10,000 per day fine. And finally, several people who served as fake Republican electors in Georgia are now cooperating in the criminal probe of Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. During interviews with Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's office, witnesses have reportedly provided significant information about what happened on December 14, 2020, when pro-Trump electors met and voted on alternate slates. Trump, who lost Georgia by about 12,000 votes, pressured Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find the votes needed to swing the state to him. The call to Raffensperger set off the criminal investigation. The Justice Department is also investigating the fake electors, and a grand jury recently issued subpoenas. And in the polls, Monmouth University says 57% of Americans say Roe v. Wade should be left in place, while 31% want the Supreme Court to overturn the precedent. 33% of Americans support keeping abortion legal, 31% support abortion rights with some limitations, 26% say it should be illegal except in cases of rape or incest or to save the mother's life, and 8% say it should always be illegal. 52% of Americans, meanwhile, disapprove of the job the Supreme Court is doing, up from 42% 2 months ago. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Manchin.